Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of our fractions review unit. Today, we're going to pick it up a notch. On Monday and Tuesday, we were just talking about identifying fractions based on a model, comparing the unshaded part of a fraction to the shaded part of a fraction. Today, we're going to talk about how to label fractions on a number line. So just a different way of modeling fractions. So with that being said, let's look at our I can statement for today. I can model unit fractions on a number line. Simple enough. Before we jump into our fraction number lines, I do want to do a fluency activity. And our fluency activity is a little bit different than what we're used to. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys some different scales. And I want to review how we read scales. If you remember, scales are tools that we use to measure how much something weighs. Now, when we were in school, we talked about how some scales can be used to measure things in pounds, but other scales can be used to measure things in grams and kilograms. Does anyone remember how many grams makes a kilogram? Hopefully you're thinking kilo means, or kilo means 1,000. It takes 1,000 grams to make 1 kilogram. So let's look at number 1 right here. When we look at this scale, what do we notice about what the measurement is? Where do we see the arrow? Well, I can see that it's not directly on a number, but it's in between 2 numbers. So what numbers is it in between? 4 and 6, which means if it's in between 4 and 6, it's greater than 4, less than 6. This must be 5 kilograms. So I can go ahead and label it 5 kilograms. Let's do our next one. Number 2, I see in between 6 kilograms and 8 kilograms, which means it is 7 kilograms. Nice job. Next one, number 3. Ooh, this time the scales changed a little bit. What do you notice it's counting by now? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Counting by tens. So if this one is in between 0 and 10, what's halfway between 0 and 10? Hopefully you're thinking 5, because half of 10 is 5. So that means this must be 5 kilograms. Next one, the same scale, but this time my arrow is in between 20 and 30. What is the halfway point between 20 and 30? If halfway between 0 and 10 is 5, halfway between 20 and 30 is 25 kilograms. And then let's slide down and look at number 5. Oh, this one's easy. It's right on the arrow. Everybody shout it out. 1, 2, 3. 20 kilograms. Now, number 6, again, is between 10 and 20, halfway between 10 and 20. Think of a number line in your head. 15 kilograms. And then let's look at number 7. This one's a little bit trickier. Now, what do we notice that this scale is counting by? 0, 20, 40, 60, 80. It almost reminds me of 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, which are counting by 2s. But if there's a 0 in front of it or behind it, 20, 40, 60, 80, they're counting by 20s. So this one's between 60 and 80. I need to think, what is halfway between 60 and 80? If they're counting by 20s, I know half of 20 is 10. 10 more than 60 is 70. 60, 70, 80. This must be 70 kilograms. And then let's do our last one. We notice same scale, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80. This time it's in between 40 and 60. So I think 40, 50, 60. 50 kilograms. Great job with this review. Hopefully that was a quick and easy reminder of things that we've worked on earlier in the year. Now what I would like to do is go ahead and jump into our mini lesson today about fractions on a number line. And one thing I want us to remember about how we can put fractions on the number line is the most important thing we need to do is pay attention to our unit. So number 1, for example, if we're dividing something into 6, that tells us how many parts we need to have on our number line. So let's say my first example, I want to partition something into halves. The first thing I always want to do, if it's not already done for me, is set up a number line from 0 to 1. And then something that we practiced also is drawing a fraction strip above that number line so we can actually model where our fractions are. Now, I know if I want halves, that means how many equal parts? 2. The number of lines we draw is always one less. So if I need 2 equal parts, I'm only going to draw 1 line. And I'm going to partition kind of perfectly in the middle, and then I'm also going to cut my fraction strip above. Now I can label my fractions. I know 0 is the same thing as 0 halves, 1 half, and 1 whole is equal to 2 halves. And then I can label each unit fraction 1 half, 1 half, because I know 1 half plus 1 half makes a whole. So with that in mind, let's look at some of these examples on our anchor chart behind me. I'm going to bring the camera closer so that you guys can hopefully see a little bit better. And let's go ahead and go through these. Number 1 says sixths. Sixths. So that means if I need 6, I'm going to draw 1 less line. So how many parts is that? How many lines? 5. So I'm going to kind of try my best to space them out as evenly as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to copy those marks above on my fraction strip. Now I can label it. If it's 6, I know 0 is 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6. And if you guys want to practice at home, this is a great time to get a piece of paper and kind of practice drawing these number lines with me. 4, 6, 5, 6, and then we know 1 whole is equal to 6, 6. And then I'm going to label each unit fraction as 1 6, because each one of these little squares represents 1 6, and 6 copies of 1 6 makes a whole. Let's look at number 2, fourths. That means if I want 4 equal parts, I draw 3 lines. Now fourths, I know I can partition my line in half first, and then partition in half, partition in half. So it looks something like this. Then I can copy my marks above, and then I can go ahead and label my fractions. If it's fourths, I know this is 0 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. And then I can label each unit fraction. 1 fourth, 1 fourth, 1 fourth, 1 fourth to make 1 whole. Let's do our last one. This time it's eighths. Now, we hopefully remember that there is a relationship between eighths and fourths. Eighths are twice as many parts as fourths, because if we double 4, that gives me 8. So basically what I can do is I can copy my fourths marks from above and then partition each part again into half. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow this halfway point. I'm going to follow my fourth and my third, and then I'm going to partition each of those in half again. And hopefully what we'll see is I should have drawn 7 lines to represent 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now I can label my eighths. 0 eighths, 1 eighth, 2 eighths, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths, 7 eighths, and 1 whole is equal to 8 eighths. And then I can go ahead and copy my partitioned marks above and label 1 eighth, 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 just like that. Now, your classwork today is going to be very similar to that. So let's actually go ahead and pull it up, if I can find it, and I'll quickly go through it with you so that way you guys know exactly what you need to do. Here we go. Now, the only thing that's a little bit different about your classwork is that it's also having us show it in a number bond, which is fine because we talked a little bit about this yesterday. So again, if you don't have a printer at home, you can just draw on a piece of paper, letter A, B, C, and D. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw a number bond first and mark how many units make a whole. So halves, for example, you should have 2 parts. Each part is 1 half. Thirds, draw a number bond 3 parts. Each part is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Now, on your number line, if it's halves, you're going to partition the number line in half. Label each fraction 0 halves, 1 half, 2 halves. You're also going to mark it on the bar above. You're going to do that for letters A, B, C, and D. So it's just 4 quick problems. If you guys have any questions or need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. I can't wait to see your work later. Have a good day. Bye.